When we open up our Bibles to Psalms chapter 25 verse 1, we read of the psalmist crying out to God. It says in verse 1, "To you, O Lord, I lift my soul." Now we need to understand that in his crisis, he's saying, "My soul, I lift up to you." Now the soul is that part of man that is the mind, the will and the emotion of man. Now we need to understand that when one is going through crisis, it is the soul that is crushed the most. The thoughts that we go through, the emotional crisis that we go through, the feelings that keep oscillating, the struggles that we have within us. It's the soul that's crushed the most. But here the psalmist says, "In my crisis, I lift up my soul to you." That means he's declaring, "God, my eyes, my soul, my mind, my emotions are not on the things around, is not on my crisis, but on you." That's one important principle you and I need to understand, that in our crisis, instead of keeping our mind focused, fixed on what's happening around, it's so important to look to God, because at the end of it, God has the answer to our crisis. Amen. The second thing that we also understand is when the psalmist says, "I lift up my soul to you," what he's saying is, "God, I trust in you." In simple words, what he means to say is, "I know that you are fully able to get me out of this. I know that you can and you will do it." He's saying, "God, you are reliable." Come on. In our crisis, do we look up to God, or do we get carried away by the situation around us, constantly being troubled, constantly letting our feelings take over us? Here the psalmist says, "I'm not going to let my emotions take over me. I'm going to look to you." But there is another reason that the psalmist lifts up his soul to God, is that expectation that God will move in his circumstance. Come on, many a times we expect from man and are disappointed, right? But one thing I can assure you, when you expect from God, he never disappoints. Yet the psalmist declares in Psalms 25 verse 1, "I lift up my soul to you." I have a question for you today. In your crisis, whom do you lift up your soul to? Do you lift up your soul to the Lord, or do you lift up your soul to things around you? Are you carried away by your crisis? Are you carried away by your circumstance? Is your mind, your soul, emotion so gripped by your situation? Or are you looking to the Lord? Are you lifting up your soul unto the Lord? Remember one thing, that when you expect from God, when you trust in God, and when you look up to God, you will not be disappointed. He will definitely move in your circumstance and situation and pick you up from that pit and place you on higher ground. Once again, I have a question. Whom do you lift up your soul to? God bless you.